Full time at Emirates Stadium, Arsenal women 3, Real Madrid 0. So on aggregate, it's Arsenal 3, Real Madrid 2. Izzy, we were rain-soaked, battered and bruised in Madrid last week. A 2-0 defeat. Could Arsenal come back? Could they? Heck, what a comeback at Emirates Stadium. 13 second half minutes and 3 goals. Alessia Russo with 2, Mariona with the other one. Did you see that coming? First question. How are you feeling coming into it tonight, and how are you feeling at half time?
There was a massive feeling of belief in the stadium beforehand, and the first half we had such a good press, but we just couldn't get the shots off. So it was a little bit nerve-wracking at half time. I think the energy was a bit, unsure. And then, as Freddie predicted on the podcast a couple of days ago, it was 3 quick goals in quick succession. So amazing. And I think the atmosphere just got better and better every time they scored, and yeah, it was just a fantastic evening.
I mean, the standout of the first half, if Arsenal were going to score, it was going to come from a Chloe Kelly cross. She was delivering some unbelievable crosses into the penalty area. Arsenal aren't a great crossing team. It's not really how they play their football. They obviously saw it as a way to attack Madrid tonight, and all it needed in the second half was a finish. So they obviously tweaked something in terms of the movement, and maybe those crosses coming into the middle of the box rather than the back post, perhaps. We'll have to watch it back, but something changed in that second half because the crosses were even better, and Alessia Russo and Mariona put them away.
Yeah, definitely. I think in the first half we saw more crosses from set pieces, and Madrid are a bit taller and they were able to get first contact on those balls. But in the second half, when we were just moving with such pace and the crosses came so quickly, Madrid were unable to get in the way of it, and that's how we managed to score those goals. So yeah, amazing goals from open play, and one from a set piece as well from Alessia. Great strike there. I think we did so well this evening. We had all of the possession pretty much, and it was just a completely different story to last week.
I mean, Russo is such a complete striker. We say it about her all the time. Every time you watch her, there's something new you notice. She brings so much to a team. Today she did all of that, and she scored twice, and she was very, very unlucky not to score her first Arsenal hat-trick. I mean, we thought twice that she'd done it. That would have been the headline. It would have been some night to do it on in a quarter-final. Just didn't quite happen in the end, but I don't think that'll bother her one bit, to be quite honest.
No, I've just spoken to her and she didn't seem to be that bothered. I think they were just mainly celebrating the win, and what a win it was, through to the semi-final, which I think kind of just adds a little bit more success to Arsenal's season and less disappointment for the fans. But yeah, of course a hat-trick would have been amazing, but we got enough goals to get through, so that was the main thing.
You mentioned the atmosphere. I was here on Saturday, and it was, it's a good crowd, a bigger crowd than this, a good sort of 18,000 more. Here on Saturday, 4-0 win over Liverpool. But tonight it felt different. It felt as, the goals were celebrated, of course they were, but the throw-ins were celebrated, the tackles were celebrated, winning these set pieces. I think the fans who were here knew how important every kick of the ball was tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I think last time I was here was the North London derby, and I thought that was the best atmosphere I'd seen. But this evening's just completely topped that. A smaller crowd by half, but just an incredible effort from each and every person in the crowd. Every single person was on their feet. There was lots of chanting going, lots of singing, and as you said, celebrated every single positive action from Arsenal, and it just really felt like they were the 12th player on the pitch.
And Real not really getting a sniff. Daphne van Domselaar, a crucial save before half-time, and one right at the end in injury time as well. I mean, that's what you need your top goalkeepers for.
Yeah, I think everyone just felt a little bit more confident having Daphne van Domselaar in goal this evening, and that double save before half-time was so crucial. It could have been a completely different story if they'd gone into half-time 3-0 up on aggregate, and yeah, I think it just gave us the confidence to keep going, that we kept a clean sheet as well. It's just fantastic.
Renee Slager's not holding back on Real Madrid, saying how they played into Chloe Kelly's strengths, saying that she told her team at half-time that Arsenal had a lot of players to bring off the bench with quality and that Real Madrid didn't. Not really the sort of quotes we're used to her saying. I wonder if it's a little bit of, they've been through the ringer in this tie a bit. Real have caused them problems. There's maybe a bit of animosity out there. And obviously her side have now done the talking on the pitch, but quite rare from Renee. Perhaps it's a bit of the Dutch bluntness and honesty.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday at her pre-match press conference, she was definitely more of a closed book than she was this evening, just kind of hesitant to reveal anything and hesitant to say much either way, because I think, when we're 2-0 down, you don't know what's going to happen and you can't really talk without it coming back to bite you. But yeah, as you said, Arsenal did the talking and got the win this evening, so she perhaps was just very happy and was able to speak a bit more freely, which, I mean, it always makes for a good quote for a write-up.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you can see behind us those Arsenal women players who contributed to the Gunners' only European Cup, still the only British side to do so. Chelsea and Manchester City will go to head tomorrow on the other side of the draw. We'd expect Barcelona to beat Wolfsburg. No side has won this competition more than Lyon, who Arsenal will play in the semi-finals. It's a reunion with Joe Montemuro, the former manager. They beat Bayern Munich 6-1 tonight. It's a tough task, isn't it, up next for Arsenal, and they'll start the game at home, and that'll be an even bigger crowd, so that's going to be a crucial first leg.
Yeah, and it'll just be about getting as many goals as we can score under our belts that in that first half with the home support, and I'm sure there'll be lots of travelling support in Lyon, but we obviously don't know if it's going to be at the stadium or if it's going to be a smaller pitch yet, and so it'll be really crucial to use that fan support in that first leg to really get a result that we can just hopefully build on in the second leg away.
Well, of course, Arsenal did put 5 past Lyon the last time they went there, so it certainly can be done, and tonight the spirits are very high. This was an important comeback. I think if Arsenal don't win this game, I think you can maybe consider this season a failure. You know, when you talk about the 2 other domestic cup upsets, I think for a club like Arsenal, the semi-final of the Champions League really should be the minimum. They got stuck in the mud in Madrid and they've come back and they've played their football tonight. If anything, they could have had more goals. Just a word on Real Madrid, really disappointing to see about half of their squad walk down the tunnel. They had 4 players and maybe 3 or 4 substitutes who went over to clap the fans at the end. Not great from a side who beat Arsenal last week, beat Barcelona and have been on cloud 9, but I think they just got their tactics wrong tonight and they got their substitutions on a little bit too late. The midfield just never got any control in the game.
No, I think they were really missing Leopolds, who obviously had an injury in the first leg, but yeah, it was a real shame to not see. There was a small crowd of travelling fans over there who were just cheering them on the whole way through the game, even till the last minute when, you know, they'd accepted the defeat. But it was disappointing to see the players kind of not go and thank the fans. Only a few did, so props to them. But yeah, a disappointing night for the Real Madrid fans after such a successful week elsewhere, but, you know, positive for Arsenal. So
yeah, I think it's shockingly poor, to be honest. I remember Arsenal when they lost at Manchester City away a good 10 years ago now, and Mesut Ozil turned around, forgot to clap the fans, and Per Mertesacker absolutely screamed at him. And I'd like to think that somebody at Real Madrid is having similar words with their players. But our focus, as always, is on Arsenal. We'll be covering both legs of the Lyon tie, home and away. Susie is a native French speaker, so that's absolutely fantastic. Well, good as native anyway, because she spent many years down in France. We'll have our usual coverage out there. You'll be at Crystal Palace on Sunday. Interesting to see how that shapes up. Obviously, Katie McCabe suspended. Those games can be difficult when you've had such a high in midweek, but probably a nice opponent on paper for Arsenal to travel to.
Yeah, I think a nice opponent to have after such a successful evening tonight. We didn't make many substitutions, so there'll be lots of players who will be needing a run around and to get their load in, and it'll be nice to see people like Cardy Cross come back onto the pitch, as I imagine she'll play on Sunday, as maybe will Blackstenius, maybe a bit more from Beth Mead. So that'll be a nice fixture to see how that shapes up. But, you know, it was obviously 5-0 last time, so hopefully do something similar.
And just finally, Renée Slegers' best game, her best performance as Arsenal manager?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we thought that about the West Ham game when we came back that time, but this was just so much of a bigger stage and such a feat to pull off. And so, yeah, well done, Renée, this evening.
Yeah, what a night at Emirates Stadium. It finishes on aggregate, Arsenal 3, Real Madrid 2. See you in Lyon.